She's alive. Alive!
So, as we just discussed, as World War III breaks out around us, let's talk about something that's really important. Scream 7.
Yes.
Now, before we get started, let's make this very, very, very clear from the beginning. This is a spoiler episode. We will be discussing everything about Scream 7. Everything. Reveals, everything. We're going to give up all the secrets. So if you haven't watched the movie and you intend to, turn us off and fuck off right now. If you don't intend to watch the movie, and stick around and we'll validate some of your reasons for not watching the movie, maybe.
Probably. Most likely.
I don't know, man. It's been a while since I left the cinema feeling that conflicted.
I wanted to like it, but I came out and there was only one word or two words, cowards and scared shitless. It was in my fucking head because
it felt like they could have done something special and decided to fall back on it. Look, I think the obvious thing straight away is, and I've said this about multiple movies, the ending can make or break a movie, right?
Yeah.
But especially in a Scream movie, the ending makes or breaks how you feel about the rest of the film, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah. I suppose, the last time I felt this way leaving the cinema was Rise of Skywalker, right?
Okay.
I left that movie because, again, it was another franchise I loved and I wanted to love the movie. And I didn't want to feel bad about the movie. And to the point, even I turned to you last night, it was like, I feel guilty not liking this movie. And it was the same leaving Rise of Skywalker, where people around me were like, what the fuck was that? I was like, no.
There's a reason.
I will find an
everything.
excuse for why that happened. But in that case, they brought the Emperor back. And nobody was asking for the Emperor to come back. No one spent years theorizing that maybe the Emperor had survived that big long fall in the Death Star. Nobody had any mind whatsoever that this character was going to return. So when he was thrown at us last minute out of fucking nowhere, it was like, well, great, thanks. You just basically took Anakin and Luke Skywalker's fucking story arcs and fucked them out the window for the sake of one movie. You know,
for the sake of one holy shit moment. Like,
I mean, the chosen one to bring balance to the Force means nothing because he didn't actually achieve the goal he originally set out to achieve. He did nothing. The Emperor was still alive this whole time. But also, the Empire was still running in the background the whole time.
Star Wars to me isn't a twisty-turny movie, so why do you need to have a big twist?
But this is the point, right? So, but then you get to Scream, and we have been asking for this for a long time. We have been screaming about this for a long time, and it has been teased to us since the year 2000, meaning for the last 26 years, we've been asking for something.
Yeah.
We've been begging for something. And then they pretty much told us they were going to give it to us. Yeah. And they fucking marketed it in a way that that they were going to give it to us. What did I say last week when we were talking about fucking our theories?
You said a lot.
I was like, this could make or break the movie. How would they deal with this?
And it broke the movie.
And this is the problem. This is the problem Scream has had for a very long period of time. And the only thing that saved them is the fact that they took 11-year gaps between 3, 4, 4, 5. Yeah. Right? The problem is, if you're not going to take risks and you're not going to change the formula, then you're going to need those big gaps between movies. Otherwise, it's repetitive. Now you've taken the one thing
fans were asking for,
that we were looking for, something that we discussed heavily for fucking 26 years, something that we were all deeply fucking deeply ingrained, not ingrained, what's the word I'm looking for?
Engrossed?
Not even engrossed. It's something that we all were just fucking really hanging. This was like this.
Craving for?
Yeah, there was just this mythology that was hanging over the series.
And they shit
that we could have pulled at that thread and we could have done it. They didn't. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. After I left the cinema, I felt so bad for not liking the movie at the cinema. We came home last night. And I was like, all right, I have never watched Kevin Williamson's Sick. I'm going to watch that and see how that plays out. And we watched that.
Scream.
And it's a good movie, but it's Scream where Maureen Prescott is played by COVID.
Yeah.
COVID stars as the Maureen Prescott role, and it's Scream meets The Strangers in a bit of a fucking weird kind of manner. And it's a nice movie. It's a fun movie to watch. Yeah. It's a good pandemic movie, right?
Keeps you entertained.
And I realized you were asleep by the time the movie was over. And I was like, oh, well, look at that. There's like big old cam version of fucking Scream sitting there. Let me click on it and see how good it looks. Ooh, it looks good. And I watched it again. And I have no problem in saying I watched it in cam, because to be honest with you, I feel like it was karma that made that movie, me not like that movie, because I went against my principles and I'm paid to watch that movie when I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Because I sit here and I holler fucking free Palestine. I holler about fucking, you know, we need to fucking support them and boycott this and boycott that. But as soon as something I love popped up, I was like, well, I'm not boycotting that. I gotta go see that. And I feel like that was almost like my fucking kind of, no. Look, on second watch, I understood a few more details that I didn't understand the first time around. Because the first time around, you had the problem of going in there with expectation, with a belief that's going in there.
But a belief that was fed to us, and a belief that was marketed to us, and a belief that even the actors on social media pretty much said, well, this is definitely happening without using those words.
But they did. What they did was they took this, what we wanted, and then they based it in reality and made sense of it. I did not appreciate the fact that the movie basically called all the smart long-term fans, and they were fucking smart fans, idiots for the entire movie. For fucking, it was like, I mean, there is literally a line in it where fucking, where Gail turns to Sydney and says, "Could Stu be alive?" And Sydney turns to her and says, "It would make for a great story, but that's not the way the world works." And it's like, well, fuck you.
Well, neither are a lot of the other Scream movies that we have seen. Aren't the way the world fucking works either.
This is what I realized where the hollowness came from, where the emptiness comes from. I got it on the second watch. I understood it in the second watch. So you're watching. So all right, let's just count for people who haven't seen it. It is all AI based. All the returning characters are AI characters. They're built by two very random fucking killers who come out of fucking nowhere. 3 random killers who come out of fucking nowhere.
Screen time do you say they have each?
And make absolutely... That's it. All together, between them all, they have, on average, I think it's about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of them has way less than the other.
2 of them have a scene each before they're revealed, and one of them has 2 scenes before they're revealed. And their motives are, well, we only get the motives of one character, out of one of the 3. In fact, one of the killers, we don't even have a surname for. Nope. Just Marco.
Yep.
That's all we know. All. But that was the thing. They gave us a plausible reason for why Stu was alive. They played up the fucking fact he was alive. Now, the whole thing I thought they were doing was I thought that they were intentionally doing this whole back and forth thing of, hold it for the is it AI, is it not? And instead of having a reveal being, because I believed, like I said it to you, I'm trying to straighten my thoughts out here, right? I said it to you that I knew after the whole attic thing, you see it in the trailer where he comes down from the attic and he gets into the fight, because that's one positive I will say. Joel McHale kicks ass in this movie. I mean, the first competent police officer I have ever fought. He is the most competent police officer I've ever seen in a fucking horror movie. Yeah. That guy was on the ball every step. He was like, don't you worry, I have sent all this shit off to a higher fucking police department who have the fucking equipment to work out if this is real or not, or if this, or we can trace this. We can trace all the
Kirby back.
I don't know.
Okay.
So he was very competent in the movie. He was very good in the movie, and I liked him. And I knew he wasn't going to die. I knew from the even before the trailers, I knew that they weren't going to kill off Sydney's husband. I knew her family were going to be safe because poor Sydney, we can't hurt Sydney, right? And that's kind of the whole deal here. Now, Where was I? This is the thing. I'm so fucking...
You've got a lot to get out and you don't know where to start, I think.
I knew after the attic scene, but the way the fight was going between Joel McHale and Ghostface, I knew we were getting a mask unveiling halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
I was fully aware of it. I was like, there's no way this fight is too hardcore and they're going too hard at it and it's too public. There's no way that we don't get an unmasking here. And then what I started to believe was that the cult thing would come into effect. There will be multiple killers. We would get them unmasked as time go by, and that their motives wouldn't matter. But that they would keep the whole Stu thing running, and whether he was alive or dead would be the mystery.
Okay.
That would be the new whodunit. It wouldn't be who's under the mask. It's who's controlling the people under the mask.
Yeah.
And at the end, that they'd lead us to believe that it was all AI and he'd still step out and be like, I'm actually here. Do you know? And they'd be like, oh shit, fuck, right. And that would be the cool reveal. Instead, we got, like I said, of the 3 fucking killers, only one of them gave a motive, and the motive was weak. The motive was, Sydney, you stop appearing in public after the 2011 fucking massacre. You weren't in New York when shit happened, so you abandoned us.
Yeah.
Us female women who are, or female women, all female women, us women who looked up to you as a survivor, as a fighter.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my own back on you for that. And that was weak. It was shit. It made no sense. And again, it made no sense. And do you know what made less sense when I thought about it afterwards was watching it the second time round. She's an extreme, like, there's no tension between her and her son.
No, none at all. I was
She
surprised.
is a good mother throughout.
Because of that.
And she murders her son halfway through the fight, or coming up near the end. And it's like, but there was no conflict there. In fact, it was, you're not to go near these people until this is all over. The son is a horror junkie who's obsessed with the Scream franchise,
and looks
right?
like
or the Stab franchise. At no point when he was sitting around with the rest of the group discussing suspects, as they do with Chad and Mindy in all the movies now, did he turn around and say, well, my mother did spend some time in an insane asylum.
That's true. She killed my dad.
And it had to be, well, no, they didn't. She got away with killing the murder of her abusive husband. But the point being is, it was his dad, meaning he had to be alive during the period of time she was in a mental institution.
That's true.
Meaning he had to know she had been in a mental institution, which means he would have had to know she might be a suspect. There might be a screw loose. There might be something there. Now, fair enough. You could say, right, oh, well, would you suspect your mom? Would you go after her? It's like, right, whatever, fine. But her twist from loving mom to, I'm going to fucking spike you on a fucking beer tap and pour beer out your mouth, through your mouth, fucking, that was a big jump.
A huge jump. Yeah.
Now, what I realized, again, on the second watch, and it didn't make me happier about the situation. I'll put it to you this way. Because the problem, right, before I get into what I realized in the second watch, the problem with using the Stu Macher legend the way they did means they have officially eliminated that storyline.
Yep.
He's not coming back. Not in a living form anyway. We're never going to see him again. And that, so that myth and that mythology is now done, right? Yeah. Which means the last opportunity we have for a twist ending that makes that's more than what they've done before is now gone. From here on out, it has to be random people behind the mask, because essentially all the legacy characters are gone, right?
But they could create new legacy characters. The only thing is, like in the newest movie, they eliminate nearly fucking everybody.
I can explain that. I can explain the reason for that. I can get to that. No, there's not. It's not a lost cause. I mean, we can always jump back to the Carpenter sisters at some point and freshen things up again and finally finish off their story. And that will be most likely become the new fucking Stu legend, right? Because that's the problem we have, right? They were going into Scream 3. They had this inventive new idea about bringing Stu back and having this cult. The studio bottled it. They bottled it for good reason at the time. Okay, I understand why it was bottled at the time. Columbine happened. People were worried.
Yeah,
they needed to dump it. Fine, right, grand, and they made up for it as best they could.
Yeah.
Then 4 comes along, and they have a chance to go again. But they don't want to kill off Sydney, and if you can't kill off Sydney in this one, then Jill does not go forward as the character she is, which is the point of that ending. She has to kill Sydney because it fucks up her fucking getting away with it.
Yeah.
But what would have if it was true that Neve Campbell wanted to take a sideline fucking role? Because if you look at it, Neve Campbell is only the lead in 1, 2, and 7.
Yep.
In 3, she plays a supporting role.
Yep.
In 4, she plays a supporting role. In 5, she plays a supporting role.
Yep.
In 6, she's not even there.
Yeah.
So why not just say, right, well, Sydney is in a catatonic state. She's in a coma, and it's unlikely that she's ever going to come out of it. But she's there. She's in the background. So throughout Jill's trilogy, there is this thing. Jill is the Ghostface killer. She is committing murder. She is combating other Ghostface killers. But at the back of her mind is always this thing of, this bitch could wake up at any time and fuck everything up for me. So by the time you get to the 3rd in her trilogy, you bring Neve back into it. Neve wakes up, but she doesn't have the memory. She has amnesia. So they have to try and fucking figure out what she knows. But at the same time, Jill has to try and fucking figure out a way of eliminating her. And at the same time, you have another Ghostface that's come back and then blah, blah. But they bottle it. They kill Jill. They decide, fuck it. And it does shit in the box office because it's before its time, even though it is one of the best.
I think it's one of my favorites, yeah.
And they abandon it. And Wes Craven dies and everyone just says, okay, let's leave Scream aside for a while. And that's what they do for 11 more years. Okay? Then they come in, and now we have this new trilogy. And Melissa Barrera, if you believe Skeet Ulrich, was eventually supposed to give in to her homicidal nature and become a Ghostface killer in the 3rd one. That's what we should have been seeing yesterday.
Yeah, it would have been,
a new twist.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to be from here on out now. It's going to be, when will Melissa Barrera come back into it? Will she come back into it as a bad guy? Right?
If I was Melissa Barrera, I'd say, no, fuck you, I'm not coming back. Just me.
They always come back. Eventually this will settle down. It might be 10 years, it might be 11 years, it might be 12 years, but it'll be there.
Okay.
The problem going forward, though, is without her, what do they have? We're going to have random kills. It's going to be the same ending every fucking time, right?
Yeah.
At least, even if you weren't a fan of Scream 6, because I am a fan of Scream 6. I see the plot holes, and I still like the movie.
It's an enjoyable movie, yeah.
The killers had genuine reason to be doing what they were doing. Family grief, right? In 5, we could understand where they were going. We were getting reintroduced into a new trilogy. We were getting introduced to new characters. So they tried to give us kind of a little bit of the old with a very sharp kind of look at toxic fucking fandom, which was rife at the time, which was really going bad at the time, right?
Yeah.
So story makes sense. Even if you're not a huge fan of Scream 3, we understand the more, like I said when I was reviewing these on Real Talk, the more, when we actually covered the first 3 movies for It's Alive Alive, doing that research and kind of writing, being forced to write with Roman as the mastermind, I started to understand his story a bit better.
Okay.
Started to understand what his motivations a bit better. So I like that movie then, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody so far has had a good reason to do what they've done in their own mind. This lady did not have much of a fucking reason. She's played by Anna Camp. I can't even remember her character fucking name.
Her character's name was, I have the whole cast up here.
Jessica.
So that was Jessica Bowden.
So, I mean, and again, very little time on the actual fucking movie. I had to love your reaction, though, afterwards. It was like, do you know what we should do? We should write our own Scream movie. And I was like, Amy, that is the plot to Scream 5. Let's not do
territory.
that. That's a bad idea. No, getting to the second viewing, right?
Yeah.
the reason our main characters feel so hollow, which is a contradiction to what was promised again.
Yeah.
Because I listened to a Paramount fucking Paramount
Interview.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Hello Sydney. And I listened to it. They only released these episodes when the movies were going. They did it for 5. They did it for 6. And when they did it for 5, they went back beforehand and looked at 1, 2, 3, 4. So I kind of was listening to these at work for a while. And a run up to 5, and then when 6 came out the year after, they released another episode, and then last week they released a new episode. I was like, oh cool, I listen to what they have to say, and I should have seen the warning signs, because they were skirting around the fucking returning characters as much as they could. And then there was an interview with Neve Campbell, and Neve was like, well, we felt that the last 2 movies were over the top with the violence. They were too vicious, too dark, too reliant on the stabbing.
Point for them being that vicious and that. I mean,
well, but that's the way movies have went.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Halloween, that's what we got. You look at Terrifier, it's all about good. No, I will say the kills in Scream 7 are brilliant.
They're inventive.
They're cool.
Yeah,
it's the motivation that kills it. But
exactly.
No, what they were trying to do. She promised in the interview that what they wanted to do was to make us care more about the characters. So when they were killed, we would care more about what was happening. The kills would mean more because we cared more about the characters.
I know fuck all about those characters to care about those characters.
Can't even remember most of their names.
Lucas was Jessica's son.
So
that's all I remember.
So what I've taken from this, there's an awful lot of references throughout the movie about Sydney not being in New York. Okay?
That's just to explain it away.
No, it's not. There was a lot of references to Sydney not being in New York, right? There is a lot of references to our expectations going into these movies about Stu and about the teenage cast that is put in front of us. And I mean, like, even at the end when Sydney is talking, when she is talking it out with fucking Jessica about the fucking killings and all that kind of fucking stuff, Jessica says, oh, you're past your prime, and Sydney's last big line was, past my fucking prime, am I? So again,
he past my prime.
When I started to look at the amount of times it was referenced about fucking her not being in New York, about her being past her prime, about the obvious nature of how these movies work, and about returning characters, and about how we should be watching the teenage cast to see who the killer is.
Yeah.
It felt like Neve Campbell and Kevin Williamson were basically saying to us, look who came crawling back after Scream 6 didn't work out for you. Scream 6 didn't work out because of a bad fucking motivation for the characters. Scream 6 didn't work out because Spyglass decided that they were Zionist pricks and fired Melissa Barrera before we could get the conclusion to a good story that was in the building, in the making. So it wasn't that we came crawling back to give you more money. We came back because this was the only option we fucking had when it came to a Scream movie, and we were promised that we were going to get something that had been promised to us for a very, very long time. No, we can't say it didn't deliver.
No, it did deliver what people took up from what they promised.
We all knew from day one. We all said from day one that we were well aware that there was going to be an AI element to this.
I'm not saying that we didn't know, because Roman had to be AI. Other people that we saw on the cast list had to be AI. But because they dropped so many breadcrumbs, so many this, so many that about Stu throughout the years, in a lot of people's heads, and with his ex-post, it could not be... It was presented to us that Stu wasn't going to be AI.
Hurt the Stu connection to the movie was the fact that the characters who end up being under the Ghostface mask have absolutely zero to do with Stu. They're no relations. They never knew him. They never met him. They're not stab fanatics. They're not horror movie fanatics. This isn't so much, because in every other movie, it's a stab fanatic or an angry family member. So this time, it's a Sidney Prescott fan. someone who loved her out of darkness.
Who met the orderly in the mental institute.
And so on and so forth.
But
no.
Like you said as well, though, we were lied to in parts of the trailer.
Well, that's all they've always done.
But like, why put that photo?
The picture that I discussed last week on the show saying who took that picture.
No,
well, that picture doesn't exist in the movie, so that explains who took that picture. There was no picture.
Yeah.
But no. Let's talk about why it felt hollow. Like I said, the teenage cast were put in front of us as very obvious
throwaway characters.
Not throwaway characters. They were all different versions of past killers.
Okay.
They all had traits of past killers, right? Even down to when Ben is originally stabbed and falls back out of the fucking kitchen.
Oh,
your reaction was, oh, he's faking just like Billy. Yeah. And I turn around and goes, that is what it looks like. And
sorry. That's Jessica's son, is it?
Yeah. I was like,
is he Lucas? I think Ben.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas. Sorry. Lucas falls out backwards. It was like,
fake. I said it. Both of us said it.
Billy fucking from fucking
because there's
one.
No blood coming out of his mouth, nothing like that. It's only afterwards when Ghostface turns around and is like, you realize he's not faking.
This is what I'm saying. It was like the sorry, what was that girl's name?
Hannah.
No. That's Grace, McKenna Grace, who is being played up as one of the major characters in this. She dies within fucking 10 minutes. She's first kill. Is it Asa girl? No, that's Lucas.
I get it here for you.
The girl that liked Lucas, that owned the bar.
Yes, that was
Bella.
Chloe.
What?
Okay, I thought her name
was
Chloe.
Chloe. Oh, yeah. Celeste O'Connor, you're right. Sorry. And who's this girl then? I don't know who she is. Yeah, Chloe. She is obviously like a kind of step in for the likes of fucking Mickey Madison's character or Jill or fucking Amber or Jill or the kind of quirky kind of girl who might be a bit more than she fucking says she is. You know, she acts all cool, but she still has a dark side.
I got that from McKenna Grace more so, like Jill
and even their relationship between the two of them, of her liking the creepy guy and all that kind of fucking stuff.
That's Jill, yeah.
Well, McKenna Grace, yeah, but she's dead so fucking fast that you put her. I mean, they put her in the blue plaid at the start to make her, again, one of the people you look at and go,
there was
kill
no
her.
way we were going to see enough of her character to be like, oh shit, Hannah's dead.
And then there was the boyfriend who was supposed to be a knockoff of Billy, even down to the fact where they literally play out the first scene between Billy and fucking, I think, with Fear the Reaper playing, with him just replacing the Exorcist with Stab One. And they do it obviously in a funny fucking where they both know what they're doing and they're both kind of taking the piss out of the movie. But he is played up to be like the killer. Basically, the teenagers were there not for us to get to know them as characters, but to represent a different version of each killer for us that we've always suspected. And then they put them in positions that were very similar to old killers fucking faking it to try and confuse us and try and put us off. And in the end, it turns out to be 3 adults with no backstory.
But there's not one time, I don't think once during the movie, I suspected any of those teenagers. Really, realistically, I didn't. I couldn't tell who it was, but I didn't suspect.
What did I say as soon as fucking Anna
well,
Camp
you said that it
mouth.
Was her and the son. So you had suspected him for a long time.
Well, no, I only suspected him because of her.
Because of her. Yeah. Even the windows, even when Mindy's looking out the window and he looks all weird at the window, you just still didn't think
that took him out of my suspect.
He's not one of them.
It's too obvious.
Yeah.
But her, as soon as when she has a coffee scene with Sydney and they're talking and she dropped the line of, because Sydney was like, do you tell your son much about your past? And she turns around and goes, oh God, no, what would I tell him? I had an abusive husband, you know, he was a dickhead.
And
then straight away I was
covers up
like,
yours, so he didn't realise maybe that she was in a mental institute.
Well, it doesn't matter because I instantly turned to you and I was like, she's a killer.
It's her. Why bring up your abusive husband?
Why think that? I was like, because that is literally identical to fucking Quinn and fucking Officer Bailey, whatever the fuck his first name was in 6, constantly mentioning their dead son.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so I was like, all right. So her husband has something to do with Sydney. That was the only thing I could link to.
Yeah.
You know, there's some linkage there between the husband and Sydney, but she's definitely it.
But then we get her for about 30 seconds, and then we don't see her again.
Then we go to it didn't matter. As soon as I saw her, I was like,
oh no, I'm not saying it fucks on yours.
Then we went to the mental institute, and we got Eaton Embry's fucking Marco, and straight away I was like,
killer.
Also killer. I was like, but at this stage, I knew that there was multiple adult killers.
Yeah.
And I was like Stu's, and then when he was like, Stu's a liar, I was like, okay, right, maybe. I just felt like this movie was trying to be more clever than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it leaned very hardly on the idea that we need Sidney Prescott. And that Neve Campbell and Kevin Williamson know we need Sidney Prescott. And the failure of 6 was because we didn't have Sidney Prescott. And it's like, well, no, it's not really. To be honest,
you're covering your fucking tracks here, lads. No, exactly.
I in fact, am completely turned off seeing her in another fucking Scream movie because it'll just be the same again. How many times can this one woman go through the same fucking story over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? Even Halloween had the good sense to take. I mean, they make the references like Halloween keeps putting Jamie Lee back in the movies. It's like Halloween had the good sense to take her out of the movies for a good fucking maybe 5 or 6 movies.
Mm-hmm. And gave her a good storyline when she came back. A decent
H2O.
No, sorry. Well, I meant H2O is a good movie. I fucking love H2O. But I mean that last kind of storyline arc for her. It's kind of, you know, I feel sorry for her the way her life turns out. I'm like, there's stuff there that you can sink your teeth into.
It feels soulless. It feels empty. But at the same time, it's a Scream movie. And even though it's the worst Scream movie, it's still going, I feel like it's going to fall into the same realm as Scream 3 for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that love it. There's going to be people that hate it. And in 20 years' time, everyone will be neutral about it.
Yep.
Everyone will be like, yeah, it's a Scream movie. Sure is.
You know, I don't often agree with, I know a lot of people put faith into Roger Ebert. I don't agree with a lot of his bad reviews because there's not many, we're the same. There's not many movies that we see that were like, that was fucking god awful. But his complaints are our complaints. Like everybody can see. He gave 1.4 something stars out of 4, but he says every aspect of Scream 7 feels rushed and shallow, including the filmmaking.
The pacing is terrible.
It's terrible. He says it's visually atrocious, suffering from the low lighting choice, which I didn't find, that afflicts so many modern movies, and it's cut together with halting, stilted rhythms. He also he doesn't say it in as many words, but he's getting at the Stu storyline, that they basically, like you said, shut down a storyline that had basically was there for them, for them to take up on. They shut it down. They closed the door on it, and it was basically not an affront to the fans. He words it way better than this, but it's like exactly what you were saying. Like,
you've taken something that has been the most interesting aspect of your franchise for fucking close to fucking 30 years.
Yeah.
And you close the door on it with you didn't even slam the door shut. You just quietly closed it.
It shits on Kirby's line as well in Scream 6. She says, yeah, if you believe it.
No.
It's not Kirby that says it.
Kirby says he's dead. Mindy says, yeah, if you believe it.
Okay, well, fair enough. But it still shits on the line because that's
the movie
there.
Literally opens with 2 people in a car listening to a podcast where 2 podcasters are discussing whether Stu Macher survived or not.
Yeah.
Then they go to Stu Macher's house where they're attacked and it's burnt down.
But that had been burnt down a few... No. Was that not set on fire in Scream 6 at the very end? Are you sure?
No, because they were in New York in Scream 6.
So not Scream 6, Scream 5?
No.
When Mickey and...
She goes on fire, but the house isn't set on fire. No.
Oh, I thought that the house was set on fire at the very, very end. Okay, I misremembering that.
Everybody is fine. The house is fine. They completely redecorated the house again since Scream 5, but yeah.
Well, that's when it clicked with me that it was that we weren't getting Stu. Was with that final AI video, and he's standing in Stu's house talking to her in real time after it's burnt down, and then he morphs into the great, what's her name? Nancy Loomis. Can't
Laurie
think of her name.
Metcalf.
Laurie Metcalf. And as soon then as I saw Laurie Metcalf, it was confirmed. It was like fucking AI. But you, like, we waited. We were walking out of the cinema and the credits start rolling. And even then, I was fucking clinging to it. I was like, nah, we're going to get a flash here. We're definitely going to get a flash here. Something. No, you get Mindy and Chad.
All they had to do was give us
even a flash.
Quick scene to make us think that he could still be out there. And that would have been enough.
But even something like, do you know, like have the whole Chad and Mindy thing, them doing their reporting, but like a figure in the background is there watching, just roughly the same size as him. Supposing we never got a fucking other Scream movie with Stu in it, that would have been enough for me to be like, okay, fair enough. They acknowledge the fact. Is it him? Isn't it him? But like
my prediction, do you remember my prediction last week? And I was like, oh, he's going to be he's going to act the invalid and he's going to act like he's amnesia and he's going to be in the hospital and all this stuff. And then we get a flash at the end where he's standing there and he's actually normal. He's actually got his mental facilities and faculties there. It's like, that would have been enough. Because at the end of the day, they did give us what we wanted in the sense of we got to see Matthew Lillard play Stu Macher.
Yeah.
And he did it with all the beauty of Stu Macher in every fucking way.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if I was mad to see Stu or if I was mad to see Matthew Lillard. And that's something that I'm kind of a tiny bit conflicted on. Is it my love of Matthew Lillard that was like, fuck?
He played Stu
perfectly. Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
But it was just anticlimactic. It was, you're left feeling empty when you leave the fucking cinema. You're left feeling like you're kind of shortchanged.
Yeah. What I will say though, and not to shit on it, as in something positive about the movie, their use of little flashes of Ghostface was perfect. It was creepy. It was like, ooh.
Even though, funny enough, it was never actually Ghost. Well, except for, I suppose, the Joe McHale scene.
Yeah, when they were the plastic.
Showing just the white of the mask in the shadows. And then he
fades back out really quick. It was good. Yeah, I liked it.
And it wasn't all negative.
No.
It only felt negative because you were expecting something completely different than what you got.
Yeah.
And what we got was a little, and like I said, these movies hinge on the reveal.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie can suck, but the reveal has to be fucking perfect. And the reveal was nothing.
I was like, oh, it's that guy. And it's her.
And I knew as well, as soon as Ethan Embry's like, why don't you come on out, Stu? And he came out and he wasn't talking and he was just holding the knife with the mask. And I was like, well, I think at this point...
We've established it's not Stu.
Yeah, and I think at this point in the story, if Stu was going to be in control of the situation, I don't think Stu's wearing the fucking gear anymore.
No.
I don't think he's wearing the costume anymore.
No.
I think he's just killing or letting other people take care of it, and he's just in the background controlling the fucking matter. Because even every time you get a video call from Stu, he is in plain clothes, and then seconds later, a Ghostface is in the same area he's claiming to be causing the trouble.
You see, that's why it kind of planted in my head that, yeah, I said it too in the cinema at one stage. I was like, there's loads of Ghostface and he's controlling them. So it did feel, like you said, like a Call to Stu movie up until a certain point. But I think as well that it wasn't a letdown, this part of it, but when Ethan Embry is like, oh yeah, no problem, I'll give you this information and that information, this information, you can see this person's room and that person's room, but for that information you're going to need a court order. I was like, well,
yeah,
he
was playing creepy from the minute they fucking him. It was like, he's got something to do with this.
Yeah. But the court order thing was a bit of a cop-out. It was like, why are you telling them all this? But for this one, they're going to need a judge to tell them.
At this point, we've had one unmasking at that point where it was like, who the fuck is that? By everybody. I was like, well, that was the dude in the coffee shop.
Fucking shocking. Well, it caught me off guard, though, I will say.
I knew.
The way it happened caught me off guard because it was such a whoo.
But I knew, like I said, Joe, I knew that the way that fight was going, I was like, we're getting on a mask here, and it's going to be a nobody, and that's the point, and that's going to be good, because that means somebody else important is controlling, someone related, because it's supposed to be always related to the fucking main character, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then at one point I turned to you and I was like, well, maybe she's Stu's sister, and that'll connect everything up.
Then,
I said to you, I was like, but they all grew up in Woodsboro, and surely Sydney would realize if Stu's brother was living right next, our sister was living right next door.
Even if her kid was the head of Stu.
And the fact that he never mentioned that he had another brother that was murdered in Woodsboro only like 5-6 years ago. Because Stu's nephew is killed in Scream 5.
Sorry, he is. Sorry. Oh, yeah, I forget. I always forget he's Stu's nephew.
So Stu is like this main character and is used as this main character, but he's no connection to the killers whatsoever. The only reason the killers are using him is because of the rumor that he might still be alive.
Yeah.
So, all right, maybe there is a chance that they could still go along and bring Matthew Lillard back
but
at
there
some
is
point.
that chance because of the whole
down.
John Doe setup. But then if you're going with the John Doe setup,
it's watered down.
Yeah, how the fuck did the orderly know who he was? He was John Doe. He was this. He was this. Did he gain his memory back while inside? Because he said that he didn't remember anything when he was saying, do you know?
Essentially, what it kind of, for me, what
and
it feels...
And there's no burial records.
Yeah, what it feels like to me is going forward, it means that we're never going to get a fucking meaningful reveal again.
No.
Because there's nobody left to reveal.
There's no sense of betrayal. That was the huge thing with Scream 1. Because they were so close as a group, because it was her boyfriend, it was a fuck me sense of betrayal. But who the fuck are these people? Like, who the fuck? I mean, who is that close with their next door neighbor anymore that if they did that to them, you know, like
what does this mean for fucking Sydney? Does she have to go back to fucking living in the mountains?
I was just thinking on a compound.
You know what I mean? Is that the only way? Because now it's not just your friends you got to worry about. It's
everybody,
neighbors,
everyone who's ever read your book, everybody who's seen Stab, everybody that knows your name. Where does she escape from it?
In the positives, because one thing I was trying to take away from this was, it was like, all these other movies over time have given us new legacy characters to love, right?
Because Chad and Mindy, I'm in love with.
Four, we got fucking Kirby came out of it as a legacy character that we loved. Mm-hmm. Chad and Mindy came out of 5 and 6 as new legacy characters that we had fallen in love with. Mm-hmm. To be fair, I think Isabella May as Tatum Evans was perfect. Mm-hmm. She did a great job. Mm-hmm. Joel McHale as Mark Evans was perfect. So the Evans family as a unit are a good legacy character going forward. I would like to see more of Tatum with Chad and Mindy.
Absolutely.
Maybe with the Carpenter.
That they're the new people driving.
There's a storyline for you right there. If you really want to go down that road and Melissa Barrera is willing to come back, Melissa Barrera snaps and the daughter of Billy Loomis is now after the daughter of Sidney Prescott. And
Randy's niece and nephews, you can bring them back in as like
where their loyalty fucking lands with their original friend or whatever. I don't know, but the only complaint I have about Chad and Mindy,
underused.
I love them, but they were used as almost parodies of themselves in the other movies.
But their kill scenes
were weak as fuck.
Weak. You knew
considering what we've seen
went across his neck. I was like, oh, is that his neck slit?
Well, he's not even stabbed by Ghostface.
He's not, but it looks like the knife is drawn across his neck when he's what it
was, and this is the second one. So it was
because I thought that he slit his throat, and then I was like,
Celeste O'Connor, Chloe Parker is trying to hide from Ghostface.
Yeah.
She turns around thinking it's Ghostface and stabs Chad in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then the actual Ghostface, who at that time we are led to believe
the mother, it's Jessica.
Is Jessica under the thing.
Yeah, because she says she got rid of the son inside.
Well, we know it as well because outside of that, we know that the second Ghostface at that point is chasing Tatum. Yeah, and Tatum shoots him and he says it himself. He was like, she even nearly got me, but she didn't get the head.
Yeah.
And, and he shows the bulletproof vest. So we know he was there and she was there and she's taking... I don't give a shit how much Pilates and that was one of her reasons. She's like, I did my Pilates and I got myself. It's like, bitch, your Pilates aren't going to help you do all this fucking damage. You're going to get your ass kicked.
But also, I think the problem that you have with the older killers as well, as in kind of middle-aged killers, is when you really look at it and you look at what went on in the cafe and stuff like that. Would somebody of the orderly's age and the orderly's build and stuff like that be bouncing around after taking 3 shots to the fucking chest after a bulletproof vest? I can understand it with the teenage characters. But like,
canon-wise, we have been led to believe that a bulletproof vest in that universe
will cause no pain whatsoever. No broken ribs. You bounce back. Yeah.
It doesn't bruise the shit out of you and leave you crippled.
You won't be running around holding yourself.
But so I can get over that because that's built in.
Okay.
But I mean, it's I think I just think it came on, and I think the worst part about it was beforehand, media coverage started to point out that they weren't being given early viewings of this movie. And the Spyglass and Paramount and even Nev Campbell herself kind of claimed that this was to stop spoilers. But all the other fucking 6 movies had been leaving the media beforehand.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to people in the know, movies only do this when they don't want early reviews getting out shitting on their movie and fucking up their box office. So they knew going in that they were going to upset a lot of people, regardless of what they claimed going in, saying that, oh, well, we focus group this and loads of people love it. And it's like, no.
Did they?
No.
Did they really?
And then again, Nev Campbell has a bigger role in the edit. She said it herself that she was in the room while it was being edited. She got to put her 2 cents in a lot as a producer for this movie. But she also, in the same breath, admitted that she was not a horror fan.
So why have...
she was
no
asked,
offense to her, but why have a horror fan edit and...
She was asked, had she seen any other of Wes Craven's movies? And the answer was no. She was like, not even Friday the 13th. She was like, no, I've never actually watched those movies. I'm not a fan of scary movies. So it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing in control of fucking the storyline?
I'm just, in my head, I thought I would have thought that to prepare for a role in a horror movie, if you're not a horror movie fan, you've got a role, you would watch other horror movies to see what you can draw on, to see what works and what doesn't work. I'm just surprised.
Sidney fucking Prescott. She doesn't have to. No, look, I don't want to shit in it completely. Daughter. I don't. Because if you strip back all your expectations and just go into it as a regular ass Scream movie, everything is grand up until we get to the end. And then the end will piss you off because there's no substance in it.
No.
Do you know?
No.
Like I said to you, I would have even gotten over the AI fucking side things. Because I looked at you when Ethan Embry pulled off his mask. I kind of turned to you and I said, he looks enough like old Stu that he could be a relation.
Yeah. And
this would have been the first time they had used Stu Macher's family as a revenge unit, as opposed to a Loomis family member or a Kirsch family member or a Prescott themselves.
Because obviously the people, as in, like Billy and Stu would have family members that would blame Sidney and they'd want Sidney gone as well. I mean, that's plausible. That's fucking plausible.
It's not just plausible. It is the fucking, literally the storyline of 3 and... I'm sorry, of part 2. I mean, Joe.
Oh yeah, and also 6, where Melissa Brera and Jenna Ortega are concerned.
And that's what they claim then as well. This movie was supposed to be about generational trauma.
But Sidney does say it in the movie.
Does 5 and 6 not cover generational trauma?
That does, but I think that generational trauma hinges on Sidney turning around and saying, I thought I was doing right by protecting her from all this, but I've left her unprepared. I think that's where they're kind of getting that in as well. But I don't know. That she has left her daughter unprepared because of the trauma that she experienced earlier in life.
I think, truthfully, that when it comes to these movies, they have 2 choices here. One is we go back to making one every 11 years, meaning it can rely on its nostalgia. And it has time to breathe, and a new generation will be introduced by the last generation and be like, look, these are actually really good movies, come watch. And it won't matter that it's the same movie again.
Yeah.
Right? Because no matter what you say, 1, 4, and 5 are essentially the same
movies. Yeah, of course they are, yeah.
They're just done for a newer generation. Okay? That's your choice. You can wait another 11 years or another decade and come back with a new one.
When they have holograms this time.
And we'll be like, okay, you've had time to freshen up. Let's give this a go again.
Yeah.
Or you can grow a set and do something different and admit that this fucking weird fucking cycle of fucking revenge story that keeps going on, that has now gotten so diluted that people are getting revenge because you wrote a book one time and then didn't write a sequel to your book. You know, are you
that was the case, George R.R. Martin would be dead long ago.
essentially, it's like a bunch of fucking people who are hardcore Lee Evans fans going out looking for Lee Evans because he retired from
you did give me another stand-up, you prick.
You stopped making me laugh after 2011. I'm going to come and kill you.
No more Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You're gone.
Rick Morales, when I get my hands on you.
Gone.
You know, it's a fucking strange fucking... And there's just not enough... There's not enough meat in the bone.
No, there's not.
To explain why what's happening is happening. There's not enough meat in the bone. They don't do a good enough job for someone on their first watch to realize that the teenage characters are stand-ins for our expectations of what the killer should be. They don't put enough meat. You have to, they're forcing multiple watches, which they think will lead to people going back to the cinema. And it will be. I've already seen it on Instagram. There are so many people who've been like, I'm going in for my second viewing of Scream today. And I was like, I felt guilty fucking paying the first time.
So it will be calm.
I mean, and do you know what? I think I got what I deserved. Yeah. That's where I'm leaving this. I feel like I got what I deserved.
And that's what you get for supporting Zionism?
Yeah, I fucking put my principles aside and went to watch a movie that I knew had done fucking dirty to my belief system. And I still gave him my fucking money. And I still went in there and watched the fucking movie. And what I got in return from karma, and it just reinforces my belief in karma, was here's what you want, here's what you want, here's what you want, and we're taking it away and it's gone.
We should have stood with Jenna and Melissa.
And to be honest with you, when we got home and I saw that I had a cam version of it there, and I turned it on, I was like, well, motherfucker, this is perfect. We could have just watched it here.
I wouldn't have gotten my nachos, though. They were nice.
Yeah, but the sound system would have been better. Yo, Omniplex
oh my God.
Turn it up. Turn it up. I mean, fuck me. We were talking before the movie. They didn't even put the sound on for the ads.
If I had paid for an ad, I'd have fucking killed them.
It was like,
give me my money back.
People paying like big money to advertise in the cinema, and the cinema isn't even playing the sound.
But I think it had to be said to them, because halfway through the ads not having the sound, a guy stood up and he walked out. Next thing the sound came on and he walked back in. So I think he went out to tell them.
For the first few lines of the movie, I was leaning in. The speakers are all around me. I'm leaning in trying to hear what they're saying.
Which is no good, especially when there's a group of teenagers being loud enough over at this side, and then you're straining to hear what's said.
The last few times I've been to the Omniplex in Tralee, it's been the same story. It's like you're turning the volume fucking down. My sound system in my sitting room beats your fucking IMAX sound by a fucking
I would hate to see
mile.
a paranormal movie like Insidious, like the first few Insidiouses, that did rely on loud sounds in the Omniplex.
To be fair, not the first one. It was the second one.
Yeah.
Was it the second or the third one?
The third one, I think.
One.
But you know what I mean?
Loud noises.
No, but number one did as well, because the lipstick demon wouldn't have been as scary when he appeared behind Patrick Wilson's head if it was like, at the same time.
Because I did
but
find that
if you
hilarious.
went to see that in the cinema, and the music, and it was turned way down, that's not going to scare you. I like a good fucking...
Because I watched Insidious for the first time last week. And as we were watching it, I was like, Insidious 1, Insidious plays The Conjuring. Insidious 2, Insidious plays The Shining. Mm-hmm. Insidious 3, loud noises.
That's funny, because I was on Letterboxd then, and I was like adding it to ones that because I'd never seen the whole thing, and you had said the loud noises thing, and pretty much there was a review underneath that was the exact same. It was loud noises.
My exact words to you was, the first one was it was literally just a Conjuring wannabe, even though it was out before The Conjuring.
Yeah.
The second one was literally fucking The Shining, and I turned around to you and I was like, the third one was Brick's movie, and you were like, who the fuck is Brick? And I was like, loud noises! And you just started laughing. Then I was like, the fourth one I think is the best in that fucking whole series. The fifth one was pretty good too.
Fifth one was pretty good. I actually fell asleep for the fourth one, and I
say it's the best. It was probably my favorite, but I can't actually remember it now.
So we have to watch it. We will be rewatching them soon, won't we?
The fourth one. What was happening in the fourth one? The fourth one was that
back to the beginning, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was the daughter, and she had gone. It was her mother had died of breast cancer. Wasn't that one? And then she goes to Elise.
Was that the one where Dermot Mulroney had another child named Bailey?
Yeah, it was Dermot Mulroney. It was somebody else from Scream as well. No.
No, he had a daughter named Bailey in that one as well.
Yeah, and she looks like Megan or whatever her name was. Not Megan. What was her name in it? Because you were like, oh, if I didn't know any better.
Maybe
Yeah.
slightly
And next
younger.
thing, we're about 10 minutes in, and I was like, that's fucking Patrick Mulrooney, Josh. Or whatever, his Dermot Mulrooney.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I know.
But no, but you see, the thing is, you had said that it looked like the daughter from Scream.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah. And next thing we're like, okay, let's just wait for Jack Quaid to walk in.
And, again, I don't know.
Yeah.
They killed all the teens, so they were coming out of this movie really with two new characters in Tatum and Mark. They're saying Scream 8 is already greenlit.
What money are you making it from, though, lads? Do you know? I mean, not it from. What money are you making from it? I know that they got the box office.
It won't
numbers.
do as well next
It's
time.
not going to do as well next time. So I just don't understand why it was greenlit
They're
so
going to
fast.
keep doing,
Look at the reviews.
Because that's the point. People like you and me last week pre-booked our tickets.
I'm not pre-booking for Scream 8.
So what happened was they estimated that Scream was going to make, they were thinking in around, they were hoping for the 30 million mark on the opening weekend. It's already clear. Before the thing was released, that it cleared that mark from pre-sales.
They were hoping, okay.
Then they changed their estimation to about 50 million in the opening weekend. Now, you can look it up, but we're not going to know right now because the estimation won't be up there yet. They won't make that. They won't put that number up until Monday.
I can look, but I don't have. Well, number one, I don't have IMDb Pro, and number two, my Google's after freezing.
Well, we know. All we know is that they have outdone. It's the second best opening weekend for a Scream movie.
Okay.
And that is and we're only on day 3. Okay, so that's done. The Scream 8 is coming.
Box office, Scream 7 scaring up record 60 million plus. This was 2 hours ago.
Williamson and Campbell have both said they have ideas for Scream 8. I hope they're better than their ideas for Scream 7. Kevin Williamson, I'm kind of disappointed in the sense of you've done so many great fucking movies. How the fuck did you drop the ball so hard in this one? And directing wise, I love you, buddy, but you got a bit to learn when it comes to pacing. The start of the movie just runs away with itself.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at you at 6:30. We went in at 5. The movie started at 5. It was too close to our movie. At 6:30, I kind of looked at you and I was like,
how are they going to
wrap this up? And then next thing, that's it. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's, again, I stick by what I say. This movie is going to split fans 50-50. And in 20 years' time, we're all going to talk about it like we talk about Scream 3. It wasn't that bad. They had but they could have done this. And that's what we always say about Scream 3. Scream 3, not that bad in retrospect, but they could have, they were going to do this Cult of Stew thing. And now we're going to have the exact fucking same complaint about this movie in 20 years' time. We're going to be like, it wasn't a bad movie. But they were gonna do this Cult of Stew thing, and then they bottled it in the last minute, and we got this watered down version of that idea that didn't really quite hit the way we wanted it to because the serial killers had no. No, again, I was thinking about it, and if you were to base this purely in reality, if you were to say, all right, they've abandoned the old Scream ways of it being a slasher movie, and now decide that it's going to be a purely realistic, true crime, fucking adjacent kind of movie, then it all makes perfect sense. Because, the idea of Stu being alive is ridiculous. The notion that they have built throughout this franchise that the killer is always someone you know is actually the complete opposite to reality, where serial killers work best because they kill people that they don't know, that they have no relationship.
Yeah,
That's why serial killings are notoriously hard to investigate, because they usually kill random victims.
Yeah.
No one related to them. Ted Bundy didn't go kill his girlfriend. He went and killed your girlfriend.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer didn't fucking invite his friends over to turn into fucking zombie sex slaves. He went out and he found randomers and brought them home to make zombie sex slaves. Do you know, it's the same. Like Gacy got caught because he played too close to home. You know? And this is what I'm saying. Like, so in that sense of the matter, yeah, they're the most realistic killers to ever fucking be in the universe of, you know, how they weren't suspected or weren't caught so early on, whereas the rest of them should have been kind of a easy catches, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow. I'm gonna pirate watch it again tomorrow. Arr.
Can we get dressed
because
up
the
like
kids
pirates?
want to watch it, and I'm gonna watch it with them again. But I'm gonna be watching it for my third time, and it's gonna be. And again, there are cool. Look, to finish this off without a complete downer, because we've spoken about it for an hour now, and we're just gonna go around in circles at this point. To finish it off without being a complete downer.
Cool death scenes.
The death scenes are cool. They are. They're inventive.
There's no way about it.
They're memorable. They're cool. They're just straight out there. There are some cool ass fucking death scenes in them. There are some, despite them saying that the other ones were too fucking too violent.
But there's a reason for them being that fucking violent.
These are borderline fucking terrifier fucking death scenes at times, like, you know. But yeah, I do prefer the old Richie Kirsch stab fucking kind of emotion
they're
rather
vicious.
than
It portrays them as
serial
killers.
In this movie. That still happens, but it gets Sydney that gets to do the wild stab.
Even though she didn't like it in the other movies.
Yeah.
Go figure.
I don't know. I'm hoping. My hope would be there was cool death scenes. We got 2 new legacy characters going forward in Tatum and Mark. I do like Joel McHale. I wasn't sure about going in, but I just wasn't sure about him as a character going in. And by the end of it, I was like, well, he's the most competent police officer I've ever seen in horror movies. That
Holds
guy
himself well in a
kicking
fight.
Fucking ass. Yeah. No problem. But I knew he wasn't. I
knew he wasn't dead. No.
What I would say is, I hope enough people talk loud enough that Williamson and anybody else involved in this movie realizes that they fucked up the ending and try to do better with it. The only thing I think is going to stop that is people like you and me. We're going to be discounted. We're going to be pushed to the side. And for one simple reason, we're going to be pushed to the side. Because when we talk about this movie and people click on the video fucking chat to see us talking about this movie,
they're going to see
this little guy right here is going to negate everything we say.
Even
everything.
Yeah.
The fact that there is a Palestinian flag sitting on our desk, the fact that there is a Palestinian flag sitting in our fucking bio on Instagram will instantly be like, well, because they got review bombed beforehand by anti-fucking Israeli people.
Well, there's a lot of people boycotting the movie, and rightly so.
But they got review bombed for that fucking reason. So because of that, everything we say now will be considered pro-Palestinian people trying to take a movie down that didn't deserve it. They really do, but it's not. We are really trying to hold this on its merit and ignore the fact that we feel bad enough that we spent money to fucking watch this fucking movie. Not because it was shit, but because we were going against our own principles for doing so. I feel hypocritical for doing that. But at the same fucking time, it is. That flag is now going to make our opinions irrelevant to the filmmakers.
Yeah.
I just hope there'll be enough people out there who will voice their opinion of, listen, you got some things right. You got some good ideas in there. And I'm not even bitching and moaning that Stu Macher didn't turn out to be really alive. I think that they just, if the 2 killers at the very end had a better reason for doing what they were doing,
more fleshed out, had more screen time,
more connection to Stu, this would have made a whole lot more. This would have been a whole different fucking episode. And we would have been sitting here praising it. And we would have been saying they gave us what they wanted without making it silly.
Yeah.
Is what would have been our response.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But instead, they gave us what they wanted, tried to not make it silly, and instead made it completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Where nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
No, none of the killer's backstory makes any sense. The little tiny bit of backstory that we got, we know nothing about Marco.
No.
We know very little about the other character that was original, that the first Ghostface that was unmasked, who was...
He's way down at the end.
I'm trying to find it. Carl Gibbs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Played by Craig Dane. We know very little about him, bar what Marco said in the hospital. We know a little bit about Jessica, but her reasoning for it is I suppose it's similar to the sort of reasons Richie gave, except more along the lines of instead of the killers being stab fans, horror fans this time, they're just Sidney Prescott fans who aren't happy Sidney wasn't in the last movie. Yep. So by the end of it, it felt to me like it was kind of Kevin Williamson and Nev Campbell saying, "You fucked up by not having me in the last one. No, you're going to deal with this. This is me coming back. This is me making my big
He fucked up, here's the worst Scream movie."
So really, like I said, the real suspects are red herrings that represent every other old killer trope that we fucking suspect.
Yeah.
The killers seem motiveless because they represent us, the fans.
Yeah.
And us trying to move on without Sydney because she wasn't happy to be in the last one because she felt she was being underpaid.
Yeah.
Even though she's made about 4 times more than Courtney Cox made in this one. Even Courtney Cox has been a loyal fucking member of the Scream fucking fan, been in every one of the movies. She didn't abandon us for a fucking paycheck.
Nope.
But I don't know. I look, it's not to say that I won't watch Scream 8 when it comes out. I just won't
be
pay
going to the
cinema. Yeah. You're going to take a bit of work to get me to have as much interest going into the next one as I did going into this one.
Definitely.
Again, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if this fucked off for 10 years and came back with the core 4. If you wanted to bring Tatum back with him, that's fine. But this now lands as my least favorite Scream movie.
Pretty much.
And yeah, so if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. That's fine.
But if you don't, that's understandable too.
Yeah, this one just didn't hit the mark with the ending for me.
Nope.
It's definitely the most underwhelming ending. Nice to see some familiar faces, but it would have been nicer to see him used properly.
Yes.
And yeah, suppose we'll just have to wait another year and a half to find out what other random people want to take a stab at Sidney Prescott. So yeah.
Enjoy the movie.
How the fuck do we end this? How do we fucking walk away from this on a positive note?
That is our thoughts. Like we said, there's positives in the movie. It's not a bad movie. It's definitely the worst in the franchise, but go watch it and make your own minds up. It's how you end it.
Yeah. I mean, look, a bad Scream movie is still a Scream movie.
Exactly.
You'll find parts you like. You'll find parts you hate. But my bet, do you know what? On the upside is if you read enough negative reviews, you'll go in there with low expectations and mightn't be as disappointed as we were.
Yes.
Either way, we're just going to have to wait and see what comes next in the Scream franchise and see if it can correct its course and if enough people complain about it. But the thing about it is complaints don't mean as much as money does. And right now, it's cleared enough money to guarantee that an 8th installment will come. Exactly. The funny thing about it, though, was one last thing was some of those cool deaths that we talked about, some of those flashier scenes almost feels like they've fallen into what they were making fun of in Scream 5.
Yeah.
Do you know Scream 5 when they're making fun of how the stab fucking movies have kind of went off on one and kind of lost what it's meant to be and kind of went over the top with Ghostface with the flamethrower and all this kind of stuff. That's kind of what this felt like.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's weird for a movie that was also kind of trying to pay homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre so much, where they had it in the cinema chain. And I mean, I would say that beer tap fucking scene, it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a little call to a little nod to the hook scene in all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's a handful. And you said it to me beforehand. You're like, I'm so excited about this movie. And I'm like, I'm just nervous. When it's something I like, I get nervous about because it's like, sometimes the build-up is more fun than the actual fucking movie. I mean, again, this is going to happen to me a lot over the next 12 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have Terrifier 4, which I'll want to be good. We're going to have Return of the Living Dead, which I'll want to be good. We're going to have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming back in a big way, which I will fucking really want and hope that they can fucking correct the course there that they have not been able to do since 2003. Yeah. Well, since 1994, really. Let's be fucking honest about it. But we'll see. We'll see. Either either way, we'll be back next week with a regular episode of the Horrorverse Headlines, where we won't just shit all over the Scream franchise for an hour and 10 minutes. We'll see y'all then. Same Alive Lifetime, same Horrorverse Network. And remember to check out our new Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, which I promise we are going to drop within the next couple of hours. By the time you're listening to this, you should be able to look underneath this one, and the first part will be up. I know we've been a bit slow, but I have been very, very picky with this script. I have been busting my ass. We look at it this way. We look at, unlike Scream, who like to fucking lay back and just go with the same old fucking tones, we are constantly trying to update ourselves, constantly trying to do better here, constantly trying to make this a better show. And I think coming up on episode 100, we have looked at this as the kind of dawn of a new day, the beginning of the next era, the kind of next era of our storytelling and the way we do stories. So to redo something that we did all the way back at the start, we want to do it properly. We want to do a fucking golden job at this. So we have been really, really picky about how we fucking drop this episode, but it should be there now. So go check it out. And we will be back next week. See y'all then. Same Lifetime, same Harvard channel. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.